Once you're facing the field, you come out of the tunnel. We'll have about a minute or so to kind of check out what the field looks like. I'll be down there with you. You'll not step off right away. The color you're across will go right away. Wrap your head around a couple big things. You're going to make sure you really get after it and just really focus on the things as they come right now. Thinking each thing that you need right now. Just thinking about the opening of the show. Letter E is going to be bringing right now. They count you down 4, 3, 2, 1. And we start the setup. Setup is in. Order to go right away. We're pushing on the trains, paying attention that we're giving each other space. We're moving efficiently, but not super fast. And after about 30 seconds, I'll count down the group on the inset. 4, 3, 2, 1. You go ahead and start moving the field. You'll look up, spread out from each other. You're remembering to breathe. You're checking out the field markings. The appearance around right now, kind of setting things up. You might see a few judges walking around, but you're confident. You have plenty of time. There will be distractions, there'll be advertisements going on the jumbotrons. You're thinking about tempo, timing, all those things right now. The drum leaders will be down there with you, making sure everything's queued up. Again, you're breathing. Seriously, that's the thing we forget to do. The error you want to not make is being scared. You take the field, you want to play the way you've been trained. And train really well for this moment, you're going to be fantastic. And if you're joining us from Blue Springs, Missouri, please welcome the Blue Springs High School Marching Band. Blue Springs show is titled the following, 212. Band of America, as we proud to present a preliminary performance of the field direction by Ismael Spence Garza and Grace Bradner, the Blue Springs High School Marching Band.
Welcome to Indianapolis and Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Bands of America Grand National Championships. This is the weekend for what the Marching Arts considers its premier event. The Golden Regiment is here. It was an 8-hour bus ride, but it's more than just that. Now, this goes back to summer. This is hundreds of hours of rehearsal time, thousands of minutes of drills. And the seconds, so many memories made in those seconds. But no matter where they place here this weekend, that won't really matter. What matters is this season and how special this season was for the freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors. Let's hear from the members of the Golden Regiment about this special season. The question going back to last year, just how weird was last year given everything that went on?
There were a lot of ways where it was like normal almost, but like an alternate reality way to normal almost. It was like everything was right and it felt right, but there were parts of it that did not feel right at all.
We kind of had like a year stripped from us, it kind of felt like we had some things, but some things weren't normal, you know. We got a whole trip taken away from us. We still get to go back to Grand Nats, but it kind of feels like a missing part.
Like a lot of them say, like, I don't feel like a senior. I think a big part of it is like how I missed that year.
We still got to learn like music and drill, but we didn't get to play for anybody. You didn't really, until the ending recording, see how big the real band goes together, so.
2020 really did hold us back from doing all these things. And this year, like, it's all, like, coming back one way or another. Like, we're doing everything that would be traditional. Because last year we pushed hard for what it was. This year we're pushing hard for what it's going to be and what we dream of.
So now, looking back, what makes last year so much more special when you think about this year?
I feel like right now we're more of a family than we've ever been, and it's because we went through all of that together and we all did it together. We're all relying on each other and helping each other get through now because we had to before.
It all felt so condensed and not like really what I was expecting.
I think it's an advantage to have like a transition year kind of into it, where we weren't necessarily thrown into the deep end like all the freshmen kind of were this year, like how they are like in normal years, where we kind of got to like ease into it, but it was also, we didn't 100% know exactly what it was supposed to be like on a normal year.
And especially because of like going to Indianapolis this year, that's also another challenge that the freshmen have to step up to, just because of all the pressure of all the bands that are going this year.
Hard times always bring us together. It may seem like in the time it takes us apart, like seems like, oh, since we had to have masks and all of our practices weren't together and we were all split up, that we weren't like a whole band together. But in fact, it's the opposite, because whenever we were able to come together right at the end, we were able to basically have that nice sound. We sounded amazing, and it just gave us the whole thing of like, we're a family again.
It felt surreal. It just didn't feel real.
I'm still proud of what we did, even if it was different and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd say I'm grateful for it too.
Yeah,
we could have done nothing.
Exactly, we could
it wasn't perfect than what we wanted, but it was something, and we still got to like see each other and like, you know, kind of do our thing. So
I would much rather have like done that than nothing at all and come into this season just with
we would be ready.
I think we're so lucky that our school did something that year, because many bands just had no season last year and didn't do anything.
I think it's really like a testament to like how hard we were willing to work, even though it was such a weird year and like all of us were like really bummed out that we couldn't actually travel or do anything. We still stuck with it, and we still were able to put in all of that effort. It was us, like we still did this thing.
That was the name of the show.
That was the name.
The Golden Regiment's return to competition started in the middle of a typical sweltering Missouri summer. The familiar sound of the Wildcat fight song sounded sweeter than ever. But some new sounds were added to this season. The color guard feature Shut Up and Dance With Me by Walk the Moon. And a return to competition meant a new show. And this year's show, called 212 Boiling Point, was special because, as GR members will tell you, at 211, water is just water. But at 212 degrees, water boils.
All right, wrap it up, please. All right, pull on top of hands
up, please. Thank you. So we're going to run this again.
One, two, three, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 1, and 2. Grin and keep your elbows straight, engage your triceps.
Goes all the way up. JPD, kick it off. Catch you.
Alright, by a show of hands, who loves band camp? Alright, by a show of hands, who's lying?
I just don't think we knew what we were expecting out of this year because, again, with the extended band camp type thing, we've never really performed except for like the recordings. So band camp is a whole different experience than actually performing for people. So we don't really know what's gonna happen.
So let's have some fun with this. Band camp, best part, worst part.
Popsicles.
Oh my goodness.
Worst part, the heat.
Bomb pops. Bomb pops.
How do you know when Dr. A is gonna grill you?
Get eye contact. If you make eye contact,
Don't make
your
eye
name
contact.
too. Like when he yells your name, if
He says your name from the box, like fear response. Like it's so. I'm so terrified.
It's like a reflex. Like, oh my gosh.
Anytime you hear battery.
Find your dot.
7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1.
Reset all information given is a hold.
those lower classes, the classes that have never been to Grand Nats, to understand what that's all about? I mean,
just have them go to the first competition and they'll figure it out. That's how we figured it out.
Yeah. Trial by fire is one.
You gotta throw them into the water and hope they learn how to swim.
Yeah. Really.
50% of our program that has like competed, or at the very least like had an audience, like generally, so they're used to like performance. Half the band they don't know that, and they're like working really hard because they hear about Grand Nationals and they hear about the very like final like performances, and to the people that lived it, they know what they're doing and they're like really excited about it. Those students are dreaming something, and they're like, because it's a dream, they're working really hard.
Like there's freshmen who have no clue what it's like at Grand Nats, but they're coming every day and just working as hard as they can. How much effort these kids are putting in, not really knowing what the outcome is going to be, but they're just like grabbing on so tight. Like they're not letting the season get away from them.
so you are pulling up a whole bunch of future members. I mean, that's you have a heavy lift, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Oh,
No.
That's
We're just talking about
we were talking about that inside. We're just like, how is our group going to be the leaders for next year?
But every group before us has wondered the same thing.
Not only are we leaving the legacy for these two freshman classes, we're also leaving a legacy to every person who is going to be in the group.
One of the things that we say a lot is, for those who came before, for those who are here now, and for those yet to come, and bringing something so big and setting up that pillar just a little bit higher for those yet to come up and just eventually break it with whatever show happens next year, that is special. Like knowing that whatever shenanigans we do now is going to get blown out of the water by whatever happens next, and I'll be excited to see what that looks like.
Right now, I think having those things in mind is causing us to like absorb everything from the seniors now, like how they treat us. I feel like we're taking in all of their leadership and thinking about the fact that it's almost our turn.
For us to be seniors and have a normal show this year, it means a lot to really show the two freshman classes basically what that means.
Since the freshmen and sophomores, like they've never really even marched a show, and like the juniors, they haven't like ever been to Grand Nats, so we're like the only class who's been to Grand Nats. It's kind of like made me think like, dang, I don't know how well we're gonna do, but like with our like how we're going right now and like how like much we're improving so quick, and like I don't know, just makes me really feel confident that we're gonna do something great.
And you really have to teach them the payoff. They don't know what they're working towards and why we're having these 3-hour rehearsals, working in the heat and really digging in deep. You have to tell them that there's something that you can't even fathom, like the performance and how it feels, and they don't know what they're working for. So you have to like really push them to get them to like work hard.
Just because performing like at Grand Nationals and that feeling, it's like there's not very many things that are like that. So trying to like show a lower classman or like a freshman what that's like is really difficult.
How do you make up for that lost year?
Well, this year we're performing like a total of 4 shows. And usually we only do 2 or 3. And I think the main reason behind that is to give them the experience of being in front of an audience before, you know, the super regionals and Grand Nationals. I think it's really important for them to have that experience, because if they don't have that experience, if your first time doing a full run of a show in front of an audience is at a super regional, it's incredibly, like, it's terrifying.
It's just kind of hard because you just kind of have to be there. You have to have experience with that.
And it was just that first moment of walking out on that field, and you look up and you're just like, what is this?
What did I sign up for?
And so I feel like it's very important for the freshmen to get experience prior to that.
The sophomores and freshmen who don't know what it's like to compete, they feel what we give them, and that's like, it's 100% of the band feeling like we're gonna do great.
You guys were incredible tonight. You were really, really good. Give yourself a hand. Congratulations. Really nice job. Now, I think you felt it. It was fun to have an audience here. It's been a long time since that's happened. You felt your heart rate go up, right? And all that type of stuff. And so that's a skill set too. So as we're preparing for tomorrow night, how do we control the fire that we have and the energy we want to bring with still having our mind where it needs to be? so we don't overhype it. Like the end of that started really pushing like 172, 174. You got to make sure you're staying in the pocket. That although you can hype off the audience's reaction, you cannot let them take over your emotions. Are you with me? You're on the field, stand completely still, have your head up. Let's boost the game a little, Mr. Tran.
Keep strong, don't give up, and 1. Down, up, 8 and 1, 2. Maddie, bring your elbow in faster. 7, 8 and 1, 2. Separate and squeeze. Right now, everyone needs to take your elbows and box your elbows out. You need to take your sternum and project your sternum up a little bit. Whenever we get insecure, we like to collapse in on ourselves. Yeah, visual activity. Be proud, relax, shake it out.
Yeah, well, it's paying off. Do you not hear her screaming up here?
You're doing so great!
Good job, Color Guard. On the other hand, wind players, if your feet are not in time, you don't have a prayer getting your horns up together, right?
Hey, woodwinds, in general, we gotta move faster up onto the stage. Then once we get there, put your feet slightly apart so you can groove a little bit in halftime, okay? Calm down your brain. It's a finesse section, not a power section, okay?
Okay.
Go, go, go. It seemed like maybe it slowed down because that was the first time we've done that transition, right? So practice that in your head.
So what are the counts? Can you explain the counts to them so everyone's on the same page?
Okay, so
go ahead and pull the volume down, just up
so
loud
you
enough
guys
so
know
people on
after
your
E,
whenever
whenever the snares go, and then we respond with
top of the show.
so lean with it, like they're doing.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1.
Hey guys, make sure we follow Grace. You guys, I have a confession. I found myself listening. I know. I spent 2 decades yelling at children not to do that, and I found myself listening, and then I was counting, and then I looked at Grace, and I was like, oh God, I'm nowhere close. You guys, do not do what I did. Do not listen. You have to watch. You have to watch. Understood? Can we do one more, and can you... Can we do one more, and can you come in, and stay there? Yes? Because I want to know, I'm concerned. I am really worried that you're not going to be able to play full because you're not going to be able to play after movement. But I'm being convinced by the staff that you can. You better be taking some deep breaths. Understood? Yeah. Reset. We are playing the first 2 bars. Don't screw it up.
Okay. Make sure we get that, just that part of definition before we go into the rest of it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Nice.
Leave it where it is, because if we get up to move to our spot to do the chasse stuff, we can get up and grab our horns and then start the chasse.
Go ahead.
Right? So I'm here, I'm performing, I'm hanging off the train. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm leaning with one arm, I'm pointing to the audience, I'm coming around, I'm bending backwards because I'm super cool. Do you get my point? Yeah. You can't do this.
Rotate more. But then make your bell beat. Oh, wait, that was it. Yeah. Ah, that's it. All right, let's do it. And we're up. 5, 6. Y'all are sickling. You still have to articulate through the crowd. Up, over.
Okay.
And then letters, go ahead and take off and get center behind the front ensemble. I'm missing a few folks.
You get my point? Yeah. If we get to the end of the rehearsal, and I want you to be honest with yourself, if you're like, this is not me, I'm not sure I'm who you want, tell me and I'll switch you out. What I can't have you do is be basic on this.
Culture has shifted a lot. It's the same program, but there's a lot of different things to it. Keeping holding together the bits of culture that are gonna keep going, maybe even new traditions and stuff like that. Very moving, very friendly, and very supportive,
So Grace, how do you mix that leader, icon, member?
So I'm a big believer in leading by example. And one thing I learned this season was to do what needs to be done without caring about whether or not a staff member sees it or whether or not anyone notices. Because eventually, even if it's not right now, people will take notice in all the stuff you're doing. I focus on being my best self and not really caring about what staff may think or what other members may think. Yeah, I don't have to be the first girl to do everything. There are so many girls who are gonna see me and go, hey, I can do the things she did, and then they're gonna go out and be the first girl to do something else. And they're gonna keep breaking that ceiling. And I think that's super awesome that they can get that inspiration from me. The thing is, they don't need me for that inspiration. After I'm gone, it's not gonna be about me, it's just gonna be about them.
For band kids and their parents, fall Friday nights in Missouri are punctuated by football games, halftime shows, and the CATS Cats Cheer. After 24 months without an audience, Hope Football Games would be the first chance for the Golden Regiment to share its progress on this year's show. This celebration was put on hold as the first show was rained out. 3 weeks later, the band would be forced to wait again as storms moved in just prior to the performance. Finally, on October 1st, the skies were clear, the band was in full swing.
Blue Springs High School is proud to present, under the field direction of Ismael Cervantes Garza and Grace Bradner, the Blue Springs High School Marching Band.
single day we pick up right where we left off, or we're even better than we were before because we went home and we worked on stuff and we went over our dot books. Like there's just, I feel like everything we've taught has been absorbed and people have been applying it.
When we all play together like 24/7, it's like you really get to absorb all this like sound, what things sound like.
Last year I feel like we did get to work more on technique, which is helping us a lot now, because we got to work on a lot of body work and tosses and all those things like that.
If there's one thing that last year did do with all that conditioning is that it's finally paying off this year with our actual performance. So I think we're prepared for this show. So that is a positive COVID, I guess.
After a nearly 2-year absence from the competition field, 2 local marching band events would give the Golden Regiment a much-needed reintroduction to performing at the competitive level and experience with live audiences. The Lee Summit North High School Marching Invitational in early October was the first opportunity for the freshman and sophomore members to play in front of judges. Just 14 miles away from their home field, it served as an initial run for the logistics of moving the entire band. Instruments, uniforms, field props, electronics, and everything needed for the band to perform. Just as the band must practice measures and moves, they also practice loading and unloading 5 buses, 2 tractor trailers, and a box truck. A team of dedicated prop parents made sure the props and stage were fieldside when needed.
How did your stage shape? I did everything. Yes, very active. Yes, I actually do. With the candy dreads? Wait, what? Bro, they're like candy dreads. And it's like this kid who's like, I'm Jim with the candy dreads.
Amidst the chaos of travel, bustle of unloading, and havoc of using school buses as dressing rooms, the band members must be ready to perform at the highest level. Warm-up drills and exercises help the players get prepared musically, physically, and mentally. This carefully guided journey from maelstrom to musicianship would be repeated many times over the next 2 months.
show day here in good old Missouri outside. And in true fashion, it's an F5 constantly running around. So it should be a good time. This is a good prep. We're going to get in the dome and be so much better for it.
Outstanding soloist, alto sax from Blue Springs. Outstanding auxiliary, Blue Springs. Outstanding percussion, Blue Springs. Outstanding visual, Blue Springs. Outstanding music, Blue Springs. Outstanding general effect, Blue Springs. And for first place, Crimson Division, Field Competition Awards, Blue Springs.
And the tube is two, and they all go marching down to the school after competition. Then goes marching.
Our first show was great. It was all of our first show, and it was an amazing experience.
I feel like the trumpet feature it was like, oh, the trumpet feature, and then it was the end. It was just over right
now. It went by so fast. I would do it all over. I'm so excited for this.
I can't wait.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was kind of weird because it was windy. I wasn't really used to it, but I got through it and I did pretty good. It was amazing being in front of an audience for the first time in like 2 years.
I loved it. It was a great first experience.
Marching 5 by 5, hurrah, hurrah. The band goes marching 5 by 5, hurrah, hurrah. The band goes marching 5 by 5.
I don't have anything.
They all go marching down to the school after competition.
I was really nervous because it was a whole different field, and I had no idea like if I would remember things. But I ended up like right when the music started, everything came back, and it just kind of like flowed.
Great time to shine.
After competition, the band goes marching 7 by 7, hurrah.
It was fun. I mean, I was nervous at first, and like because I had never marched on a different field. But as soon as I stepped there, like what Megan said, I just everything came back to me, and it was a thrill that I'll never forget.
It went great. It was our first show, Lee Summit North, getting on the road, practicing unloading and setting up and all the adrenaline stuff, and they had a great warm-up and a great performance. So we have a lot to get better at, but it was the first solid show.
So we're at the end of the Lee Summit North show. The kids were fantastic. They handled a really hard week really, really well. We learned a lot of things when we came out for the first time, especially with it being 2 years since they performed in a competition. So they're a little bit jittery tonight. We were able to kind of get that under control, but nothing beats the experience of just doing it.
A week later, the Golden Regiment's next destination was the Festival of Champions, hosted by the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. With the engine now at full steam, last week's rookies were this week's veteran performers, gaining confidence and comfort in the spotlight. However, there would be little time for a victory lap for these champions, as their first BOA competition loomed only 6 days away on the other side of Missouri.
Phenomenal show, lots of really, really good positive energy. We had a really strong warm-up when they felt
the electricity throughout, and that translated onto the field. Overall, just great night.
Oh man, the show was amazing. It was great. There's no feeling like it, just hitting that last downbeat knowing you did the best you could. It's a feeling unlike any other.
That felt awesome, yeah. The crowd reaction was like, it feels good.
It was electric.
We have a closure to learn in 3 days, right? And we all know, as fun as that score was tonight, that is out the score. We got a big show coming up in St. Louis, so you can enjoy this tonight, enjoy this tomorrow. You cannot enjoy it anymore on Monday. Back to work on Monday, right?
Yes.
Super proud of you. It's been really fun to be on this journey with you. And what a fun bunch of group of kids you are.
We're going to St. Louis, and then a couple of weeks we're going to Indianapolis. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but it's going to completely pay off.
Like, I thought that last night was something, that tonight was the night. Tonight was, and it felt so good. And I can't wait, if that's what tonight is, I can't wait to see what St. Louis is. I can't wait to see what Grand Nationals is like. This is, I'm so proud that this is my senior show and that this is the band I have for it. It's so much fun.
It made us look at why we actually do what we do and why we want to put in the effort and the passion that we do every rehearsal, as opposed to, you know, this year we have a lot of talk about the competition and stuff, and I think that's good, it motivates us, but last year it was really just for us and we didn't need to do it, but we decided to, and we learned a lot about, you know, the roots of this culture of the Golden Regiment.
I think the Golden Regiment, at least for me, it made me just like a better person. Like the difference between 8th grade me going into freshman year, just like it just changed me to make me more mature, and the culture, it just really brought out like how strong you can really be and how mature you can really be at the age you are.
It's more than a band.
Yeah.
It teaches you
Yeah.
way more than how to play your instrument well. It teaches you so much about how to be a good person and how to function in a society.
To be a part of like this GR, this whole group is like everyone has to be on the same page and everyone has to follow all of the little things of showing up on time, putting your cases the right way on the sidelines, rehearsing the right way. It's just knowing how to not necessarily stand out as an individual for doing the wrong things, but stand out as a group for doing the right things.
And 6 days later, the preliminary performance was scheduled for Friday evening, so the band needed to stay focused on excellence. The band was able to break up the bus ride by borrowing rehearsal space from Battle High School in Columbia, Missouri. Once in St. Louis, the elevated standards of BOA competition brought new ambition and aim. Performing in front of an audience of hundreds would be replaced by performance in front of thousands. In order to prevail, nerves would be calmed and determination would be steeled.
Okay, so we can't go past this. Let's face this way.
58 bands representing the finest music programs from 11 states began the competition. A definitive crowd favorite, the bandmates from Blue Springs would play with a fresh intensity, and the raucous crowd awarded them with multiple standing ovations. The GR were all smiles when they left the Dome, knowing they had delivered their finest performance to date. The excitement would settle into the anticipation of being one of 14 bands to advance to finals.
In second place with a score of 90.9, 90.90, the Blue Springs High School Marching Band from Blue Springs, Missouri.
This is all your first year going to Grand Nats, right?
Yeah.
How excited are you about that?
Very excited. I'm so scared.
I didn't realize that, we're doing this really cool choreography. I'm performing in front of people for that. That's a crazy thing to me.
Yeah, we haven't performed in front of people in
it's been a really long time. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy to think of there's going to be people cheering for us and there's going to be people judging us.
I think it's going to make a big change in the band itself, though.
Oh yeah.
Like this show coming back from a COVID year.
Yeah.
It's everything.
I think it's going to be very emotional.
It's focused on an ideology that has been in the program for history. It's going to touch everyone's heart. If you know of the Golden Regiment, you know of 212 and what we think of that extra degree.
Our show applies to everyone who's been in the band, past, present, and future. Dr. A often refers to us as a tree where we grow and then your branch is added to the tree. And the show in general is just amazing. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's my conducting the music is my favorite thing to do. There's nothing I've found that compares to being on that field performing the show.
The music that we have for this show, it really is a gift.
What's the most challenging part of this show besides going on and performing this in front of a crowd? Or is that the most challenging part?
I think the rehearsals right now, just in the heat, because we haven't really had a performance yet, so everyone doesn't really have the high of what it feels like with the standing ovation and actually seeing the payoff. But I think once we get that first show, then it's just gonna go up from there.
And within the show itself, the visual responsibilities are so demanding that sometimes you forget that you are performing. It is a performing art.
But you had that. As freshmen, you were at super regionals, and then at Macy's.
This show means so much more than that one.
Yeah. And it's just been so long since we have performed.
Why does this show mean so much more?
It's us.
Yeah,
it's us.
Yeah.
It's our story.
This show is the Golden Regiment.
And this show shouldn't be our show, it should be last year's senior show, so that puts all that weight on our shoulders of going, we have their dots. The freshmen this year, they have to be as good as the seniors were last year. Yeah. So it just puts that much more responsibility on us.
We're doing it for those that came before us and those that come after us.
Yeah, we have a debt to pay to them. We have to take on that honor of honoring what they gave to the program. We have to build off of that because, as it was said earlier, we're the last class to have a Grand Nationals. We need to prepare the other classes to prepare more classes because it's a tradition, it gets passed down.
Because when the world blew up, they had the choice to either, everything's not going to be normal, so I don't really want to be part of this, but they actually chose to be hey, I'm going to give back to this program no matter what happens. And I think this show can be about paying respects to that, paying honor to that.
Looking back to last year being a pandemic year, and you're back on the field, you're back to the normal band camp kind of season, just how special is this year?
Well, having 2 freshman classes just definitely makes me being a senior that much more special. I'm teaching more people what to do and how to do it, teaching them the rights from the wrongs, and then they can pass it on to the other people that are underclassmen that are coming in. And then it's just it being Grand Nationals year 2, we get to show other people that we can come back from an off year.
The fact that the show is 212 and how what that means for our organization, it feels super special that this our senior year is something that really embodies the organization and embodies sort of just the band and what we stand for.
Stepping out there, doing something way different, and we can make it work.
Nobody's really seen us at Grand Nats since 2018.
And to come back this year and to show off our show, 212, we're basically showing what we've been working on and how we've been growing and like who we are. 212 is us.
This show was meant for the seniors last year to perform. They were meant to be in the show.
Giving back to the senior class that never really got to like have their big moment.
Once we leave, there's really only one class that's really gotten a full experience.
If we went on a big trip this year, then nobody in the band would have performed at a Grand Nationals.
All
right, happy Grand Nationals Day. All right, thank you for being here. Make sure your hoodies and stuff are down just so you can kind of clear information here real quick, and we'll get you on the buses and back to sleep and all that. We've worked really hard. We've had a really fun season. We want you to have a great time this weekend. As I've said a million times before, please don't be a distraction or the reason for another rule. And as you get older, you start realizing that your actions have repercussions on other people, both good and bad. You know, an act of kindness can spur another act of kindness. I think that's a really cool thing, that maybe you're the person that started a chain of positive events that happen for somebody in their life. So I want to encourage you to think more globally about the organization, about your city. You're representing more than just our band. You're representing our school, you're representing the state of Missouri, how you act and how you perform. So there's a weight on your shoulders a little bit, and I know you can handle that. You have an entire city behind you, so let's let them down, okay?
The buses are loaded and the first trip to Grand Nationals for most of the band is underway. But for the seniors, this is it, the last time to ride the bus to Grand Nationals. Grand Nationals is a grueling 3-day event. Nearly 100 bands from across the United States compete Thursday and Friday. The 34 highest scoring bands, based on music, visual performance, and general effect, move on to the semifinals Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. The semifinal performance is crucial. It decides class championships and sets the 12-band field for finals Saturday night. Why do you guys get so excited when we hear the staff say one more time and you all like woo and you go back to your dots and you do it again?
They taught us how to lie really well.
I just do. It's like a reflex at this point.
Yeah.
Try to at least make it exciting. One more time, run through a different thing. One more time on a section we've been doing 100 times, maybe something else.
Yeah. You can't ever really trust one more time though. That's because
that's pretty true.
if that one more time goes wrong, then you're doing it again.
What are your impressions? What are you thinking?
Well, since last year we had COVID, it was like I really didn't know what to expect coming here, but it's really amazing. I honestly, when I first walked on the field, I was kind of nervous and shaking, but once I just looked up at the Lucas Oil sign, I just lost all of that.
What are your impressions of this big event?
I think it's like really kind of like breathtaking, seeing like all these different bands here, seeing all these different people, and like seeing the way how like some of the seniors and like some of the upperclassmen are just reacting.
Walk me through that moment when you walk out onto that field for the first time as a freshman. What's going through your mind? What's going through your belly?
I'd take in how big the entire stadium is, and just it's shocking.
So Ismail, going back to like when we talked at the beginning of the season, how do you feel like you guys have progressed?
I think this morning, during prelims, it was like the moment, you know, like Grand Nationals, biggest musical stage of 2021. Everyone and their grandma is here to compete. And I think it was that moment where that's why we're working so hard. And so it's not like, I'm just really glad that there is no regret as to how hard we work, because now like it's paying off. I don't know, it's such a cool time to be alive right now in the band world.
All right, so this was your first Grand Nats. You're up there on the big stage, big solo.
Yeah.
So tell me what was going through your mind prior and how you were feeling and everything, and then how you felt afterwards.
Yeah, so beforehand I was just trying to do all the same warm-ups that I've been doing all season, like since I've started working on this solo and the stuff for the show. And I think that gets me very focused and like this is what I'm going to be playing, and I don't have to stress a ton, like I know I can do it. During, it's kind of like just everything is focused in, and I'm just thinking about like playing my horn, and it feels really good. It feels really fun to play for that many people. And then afterwards, it's just kind of like relief and usually like pride in what everyone accomplished. I think especially this morning it went really well. We had a really good rep all around, and it was exciting to see that all the hard work come to fruition.
Because I'd been waiting for this probably since I joined band.
Once I'm on the field and I just kind of realize, oh, okay, we're just doing this again. It's all the same people, it's all the same props, it's all the same music. I kind of relax a bit and find that mindset that I need to be in.
Do you feel like the traditions of Midnight Madness and some of the circle time, does that really make this feel like it's part of a family?
Yes. Especially just like whenever you get to some of those traditions, it can make some people really come together, and that's just when you realize that this band kind of becomes your family.
Yeah, like you said, you get to make a new family, and it's not a little family, it's a big, very, very big family. Because of the traditions, it's very emotional. I know they say freshmen don't really cry for their first year, but I cried. I'm going to admit that.
My brother's a senior, and so it was just hard because like this is my first year and it's his last year.
I have been waiting for this moment since I was like 5 years old. So that's when I got the dog tag, that was like my emotional part of it.
So the dog tag means like that much.
Like you made it, you're in the program, you are part of this all.
The culture. What does the culture mean to you guys?
I feel like I've gotten a lot closer with people this year.
You don't always want to go home to your parents or family members because you can't always go to them. So I feel like it gave me someone to go to if I ever needed something.
We're here all the time. So that definitely warrants getting to know people.
What is it that makes that connection?
You can also feel it when you're performing, you feed off of each other. You're standing out there and you can just feel everyone's energy and you're like, yeah, we're about to do this.
Most of us are mostly thinking about the seniors last year because this was supposed to be the show for last year, and they didn't get the chance to do it because of the COVID year.
Working towards the goal every day. We can't get there unless we put in the effort that this takes every day.
It's not about winning.
No. I mean, it would be cool. Well,
yeah.
It'd be cool, but
It would just add a little more
cherry on top.
Cherry on top. Cherry on top if we won, but that's not what we're doing it for.
It's really just about being better people and just coming together as a family and just having something to help you get through high school.
Yeah.
And just having good memories to latch on to.
What makes the Golden Regiment a family?
We struggle together.
And we have each other's backs to get through the struggle.
Yeah.
We are here together so much. We are always with each other.
We have no life away from here.
We live here almost.
There's we have a house, but we never go to it. A lot of my closest friends have come from band, and I have such a good relationship with the staff. And some of my friends outside of band, I'll try to explain it to them, but they never really get it. You have to be okay with getting mad at people a little bit, but then you can always come back to them and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't having a good day, but I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna put more effort into this than I ever have before because it only goes up.
See, that's how we know it's a true family because siblings always argue with each other, and we always find the time to make up and be like, hey, I know we just argued, but I still love you.
Yeah.
Whenever you come back to the fact that we are all fighting for the same thing, we're all passionate about the same thing, and that's why we get upset. You realize that it's not a fight.
The dog tag that you get when you're a member, what does that mean? Coming back to getting.
Oh, it just feels like you're part of something bigger than yourself, and bigger than you can look at every single member no matter how good or how hard they try, how good they are. It's they're all just one little gear in what is the GR.
It's just a special organization. I don't know if I'll ever feel this way again.
What made the last 4 years so special?
It's just being with people I know, all my friends are in band.
You never meet better people outside of band, and these are your family that you spend so much time with, and over 4 years you're never gonna get this specific group of people ever again. This is the last time you're ever gonna be together.
I think everyone notices how special this band is.
What has being a member of the Golden Regiment meant to you?
Even though we all do the same thing every single time, we are all different people, and I think band lets us be different people.
This is like my family now. Like this is like the unity. We're all doing this together. And
it was really teaching me how to be something bigger than myself, be a part of something bigger than myself. You're not practicing to make yourself better at it. You're practicing to make the whole group look better. And
my closest friends are all percussionists and on the line with me. And I think of them like brothers, so the whole like family outside of your home family.
Togetherness, being able to talk to people in your section and like almost as if they're like your actual blood family.
I know that I'm probably not going to find any other sense of community quite like this, almost like in my entire life. So I'm really trying to give back as much as I can to the program that has given me so much.
Today was really special to see the freshman and sophomore go out there and do something incredible, you know, in a pretty scary setting for the first time. And they had an amazing prelims performance. This may be one of our best prelims we've ever had. You know, it just was super settled, Hofmoy, hearts on fire, mind on ice, and it was just really great. The other thing too, we were talking about a few of our students who were maybe non-functioning back in May and June when we first started, and now they're doing incredible things that, you know, some adults struggle with. So it's cool to see some students kind of become their own, you know, and stand on their own 2 feet, and just really proud of everybody right now. The freshmen and the sophomores, you know, were working hard at rehearsal, but I think they didn't really understand why. They were just like, we're getting yelled at, this is great. And then that first competition, we did Lee Summit North, that's kind of getting into it. And then I think by St. Louis, when they got a score and they heard their name called and they heard, you know, felt the adrenaline and the excitement, I think the rehearsals after that weekend really took off because the freshmen and sophomore finally, they understood and it clicked, like this is what we work for. This is why we work so hard. We want to beat that group that was a point ahead of us. We need to work harder. So that was a turning point for us. About the seniors, I've just heard that a lot of these freshmen and sophomore have really, or the seniors, instead of thinking this is my senior year, it's all about me, they have really thought about like these kids behind them. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been incredible. Just the example, you know, that's the biggest thing, the example that they set. Because a lot of those kids could have taken this year off or not applied for a leadership position, but they're sacrificing all their time, coming early, staying late, setting the example, you know, helping all those students out, leading the example. I mean, it's been super impressive. The seniors are awesome. So looking forward then, these freshmen, sophomores, strong year now. So, I mean, this looks good for the future. Our current students, their enthusiasm is already exciting the next group of students to join and do that.
Announced in random order, our 2021 Bands of America Grand National Championship semifinalist bands. The Claudia Taylor Johnson High School Marching Band from San Antonio, Texas. The Brownsburg High School Marching Band from Brownsburg, Indiana. The Rockford High School Marching Band from Rockford, Michigan. The Blue Springs High School.
Legacy do you think they're leaving behind for you?
To welcome in the freshmen that come your way, and to welcome anyone who is younger than you, even older than you, if they come in late. It's like you want to make them feel like a part of the family.
Enjoy all the moments, enjoy your time here, and enjoy the others that are with you.
Trying to make you the best you can be and make it up to that level, but with that comes a lot of the hard work.
Like through elementary school, middle school, going into high school, my favorite teachers have always been band directors.
Me like providing some like, hey, try doing this, or like you can maybe look at this and see how that works, and then seeing them get better, it's just like really, it's a really fulfilling like thing to do.
It's still going to be a pretty large part of who I am and what I do.
Like last year, my two best friends in band were seniors last year. Like, but competing this year, I really like to think about them and bring what they taught me and their legacy to the show now, and then hopefully pass that on to the next generation of marchers.
It feels more that I'm not like in a marching band. It feels like more like I'm a part of the GR.
What's the lasting legacy that you senior members want to leave for the junior members?
I feel like our legacy is really just carrying on the torch of just what the GR is and like the importance of that. I don't think I'm gonna remember that much about high school itself, but I know like I'm gonna be nostalgic about like the Golden Regiment and the marching band and that.
So it's going to feel like coming to the stadium. There's already quite as many people here as were here yesterday. Cool.
The more people there are, the easier it is to play. So I think in some respects it'll be a little bit easier to handle today because the stands will absorb a little more sound. When it gets boomy all the way around like it did yesterday, that's where things get a little bit harder to handle. I thought the group handled it great yesterday, but in some respects it should be a little bit smoother today. The crowd will probably be able to orient into it, so no two shows here are the same, right?
I've heard about the energy that you get when you get into the stadium, and I'm nervous for that, but I'm ready because it's just a different type of feeling that they've explained to me.
You see all these like amazing bands, and even what like the Golden Regiment has done, and then you just feel like you can't like live up to that standpoint. And like the seniors, they know everything, they've been through competitions, and then it's like our first year and we have no idea what we're walking into.
I was in the crowd and I got chills just watching the Golden Regiment, but being in it is going to give me so much more like satisfaction.
And this year I was kind of thrown into this position where I'm playing an instrument that's louder than the rest of the band. I think it's a bit of a both like stress and excitement mix.
What feelings do you think you're going to have when you first step onto the field for that first performance?
So when you take that first step and you look out into the stadium and there's just so many people, you get like really excited.
but not intimidated, right? You're not like
maybe, probably
Maybe.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I was intimidated for our first like game that we had to play, like for pregame and stuff, and because we didn't get to do any of those last year, and it was still like, even though there weren't that many people in the stands, it was still pretty weird.
And I just said we're halfway done, and we both just looked at each other and just like shook our heads like, no, it can't be.
This is the last time I'm doing this. This is my first, or well, the last first football game, or my last fall fun fest, or my last time being in St. Louis, so I gotta make it count.
And it makes you really like have to live in the moment and like just enjoy it while you can, because you know it's not gonna last forever, but you can make that small moment last.
Like, this is it. Like, this is the moment. Like all 4 years are leading up to like this exact moment.
I'm gonna look up on that camera and see all the bands sprawled out and go, I'm glad to be here.
And this is our final year to actually show them what we got.
Yeah.
How'd you feel, guys?
That was awesome. At Q, I went down at Q. What's the time I went down at Q?
We just got done with our semifinals performance, and I cannot express to you just how excited we are. The staff just jumped at each other and hugged at the end. That was the show. It really was, and what we were hoping for is, I think, what the students delivered. It was all they had, all the weeks and months of hard work came together. We don't know what's going to happen tonight, and there's a lot of really good bands here today, but we're really grateful for that show, for what the kids were able to pull off this year, coming out of a pandemic, coming to Lucas Oil for most of them for the first time. It was epic, and it was fun to watch them work and to go through that whole process this year, and we could not be more proud of them. So we hope we get a shot, to play again, but if that's our last show, that's the way to end the season.
For me, success isn't necessarily winning an award or a title. It's knowing I did everything I could to get the outcome I wanted. And if that outcome doesn't happen, then I'll be happy knowing that we did the best we could.
What you can control is like how far you pushed and where you made it, and like as long as you're satisfied with knowing that you worked really hard and that you did the best you could.
What will make this season successful?
The amount of effort that we put into it, probably. The staff's energy and our energy and how we receive it.
I don't even think winning is really the goal.
For us to be a successful band, it's all of us giving 100%. Go to the 212, don't go to 11.
Even when you don't feel like giving that 100%, always try to give the most you can.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad to win.
And at the end of the season, if you feel like you could have done more, you don't want that.
Going out there, giving it 100%, giving it everyone's best, and really just having a really amazing time.
212 degrees.
Putting in the 212.
Yeah.
Some of the shows in the past have inspired me so much, and I love the journey that they sort of take you on in this like 10-minute performance. And I want to give somebody that.
What does a successful season look like to you guys?
Having as much fun as
Yeah.
you can.
Having fun, making friends, making memories.
Getting yelled at a little bit.
Yeah.
Motivated.
And what does a successful season look like to you?
We put our all into it, and like we tried our very best.
Playing the notes and moving the feet the best of your ability.
Heck yeah.
If you do it right, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, in some ways the performance is really fun, floating out on the field, feeling weightless and whatnot.
I feel like huddling around that ladder on a cold night after finals, and Miss Finch was just crawling up on and saying, "We did it!" And we all just cheered. There was people crying, there was people screaming, happy.
And it made all like the tech days and like the long nights and all that worth it, because you finally get to like put all your effort to something and you get to see it.
Being able to go on the field and come off that field and say, "I did it." Not having any regrets, just enjoying it, putting your last performance out.
Absolutely.
In second place, the Blue Springs High School.
There was joy in knowing they delivered 2 world-class performances in 2 days. There was just one more question to be answered. Would the Golden Regiment advance to finals? While hopes were high, the weight of being the only Missouri band to ever make Grand National Finals was heavy in the air. Would the 2021 Golden Regiment join the Blue Springs bands of 2015, 2017, and 2018 in finals history?
Our 12 Grand National finalist bands. The Blue Springs.
What's a lesson that each of you have learned through the first few weeks of the season, and now we're getting ready for competition?
You should listen to what they say so you don't make the same mistakes.
Make mistakes now.
Don't try to play it quietly so they don't hear you make the mistake. Do it loudly so they can hear you and help you improve.
Play the mistake confidently.
Yeah.
Like you were the only one doing it right.
You learn a lot of respect.
But also keep in mind that you do need to have fun.
Look back on the good times, all the hard work that you put in, and what you're getting out of it is just so great because you get to travel with all your friends and see so many cool places, and you get to perform in front of 15,000 people or however many people are watching you, and you just get to show off all your hard work that you've been doing.
What life lesson will you take away from being a member of the GR?
Be grateful for just the time you spend with people. Don't take it for granted, even if it's just a practice or a performance, something like that. Take all the moments into account and just really keep them with you.
Just live in the moment.
Yeah.
The best lesson that I learned is to shut up and listen.
Yeah, honestly.
I was like, maybe I should listen to people who know more than me. And so I think that I will use that for the rest of my life.
To give one specific thing your entire being.
Take time to be positive and take time to be happy because it goes by so fast. You can't waste your time being negative or sad.
Especially with this year, you never know whenever you're gonna get quarantined like that, and you'll have to miss it for the rest of the season. So just cherish every moment that you get to spend because you've worked so hard, and you never know when it's gonna be taken away from you.
The Golden Regiment, up against one of the strongest fields of any Bands of America Grand Nationals, reached the finals. Walking off the field before awards were announced, knowing they were one of the 12 best bands in America, and knowing, as you can see from the smiles, they poured their hearts into the night and came off the field with nothing left to give. Smiles, high fives, approving nods, yet tears that the season had finally reached its climax. So where did the GR place?
In 10th place, award presented by David Simons, Music for All board member, and with a score of 90.35, the Blue Springs High School Marching Band.
So in a word, what does 212 mean?
212 means effort.
I'd say greatness.
Okay. Now, in totality of the whole, that number on your sleeve, when you guys talk about that number in the membership, what kind of weight does that number hold?
It means to not settle. It means to become great because you are putting in that effort that pushes the limits.
At 211, it's just water. But at 212, you make steam, you can power trains, you can do so much. So that's the same thing for us. It's at 211, it's oh yeah, your show's cool. But at 212, it's you guys are great. You guys are doing, you are phenomenal. You are doing a great job. You are, mastering your craft. And that's such a difference. There are so many bands that are 211, but we're not settling for that. We want to be 212.
It means to put more effort into your work than any other band.
Dedication would be my word.
Okay.
Strength.
pursue?
Grit.
Intensity.
Effort.
Performance.
Power. Commitment.
I think it's awesome. Yeah, it's a representation of that, because we have 212s on our shirt. That's the name of the show, so that's correlated with like culture a lot.
In a word, when I say 212, what does it mean to you?
Passion.
Effort.
Grit. Drive. Passion.
Excellent. Intensity.
Hope. Together.
Determination.
Family.
I'd say togetherness.
Effort.
It's extra hard work you put into things. Like if you add a little extra effort.
The color guard has this thing where anytime we see the number 212, we'll send it out in the group chat. So it's really a part of our lives now, and it's a part of my family is basically what it is.
It's the calm and the chaos of it. It's the ability to like be doing, everyone is doing something different, and yet it all works together in its own special way. Nothing of it makes sense until it's in retrospect.
Each of us is like a little water molecule, like moving around, and then we're like, wait, we gotta go faster. And then now we're steam and we're powering a locomotive, and that's pretty cool.
Yes, it means like, oh, it's about steam, heat, and pressure, but it's also about certain different culture aspects that are kind of an insider thing for the Golden Regiment that makes the show like so special, along with it being like trying to give back to the senior class but never really got to perform it.
Ponchinicky on your radio. Thanks for waking up with us. We have some congratulations in order.
We sure do. So, Blue Springs High School.
My alma mater.
That's right. Home of the Golden Regiment Marching Band.
Oh.
Just took 10th at the Grand National Championships in Indianapolis.
Well, congratulations, guys.
It looks elaborate.
Yeah.
Oh, listen.
It's serious.
There are two things that Blue Springs does not play about. One is football, and the other is that Golden Regiment Marching Band.
For real, though.
Oh, yeah. They put in the hours and the work.
Well, congratulations go to the Blue Springs Golden Regiment. The band competed in Bands of America Grand Nationals this weekend, and this is some video of their return home tonight. They finished 10th out of 99 bands.
Happy, excited parents. We're welcoming them home. These kids have worked so hard, and after the pandemic and not knowing what this year was even going to bring.
Wow. This is incredible. Holy cow. Thank you all for coming out. Your kids were incredible. To be off the bus here in just a moment. We're really tired, we're really excited, and I couldn't ask for just better support. It's been an amazing, amazing journey. So thank you, and go GR.
So tell me about like how this whole weekend went and how you feel now.
I mean, it was just, I think it was the most excellent way to finish off senior year with the band. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Do you feel like you guys, I feel like you guys just put out 100% effort 100% of the way.
Yeah, score on the page is a score on the page, placement's placement. I think what matters is what we did on that field, how we felt about it. I think we all felt really, really good about it.
Of course, the last 2 years I haven't been able to do too much with the pandemic, and so it was really neat to learn what their theme was going to be. When he was a freshman, we didn't know that he was going to want to stick with it the whole time, but every year it keeps getting better and better, and it's been a great experience.
This is a family. The parents were family. Our kids are family. We look out for each other.
I am so proud of everything he's persevered through. With the pandemic coming in as a freshman, not knowing what the whole Golden Regiment was, and then this year just giving it his all and all the extra time and hard work and practice that they do.
Tell me how you're feeling.
It's bittersweet. So this is my 7th year in a row being with the Golden Regiment.
Yeah, it's the end of a 4-year arc.
So, you know, there's no other option. Either you go out with a bang or you don't. So it's like, it's a really confident feeling. Like, we held our chins up high, and no score really determines how we feel, because we know after walking off the field, we did as much as we could, and we did an absolutely phenomenal job. So,
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations. This, out of any year, this proves that it doesn't matter what scores put up. It was all about effort.
That's exactly right, especially when they came off the field after finals. If you could, encapsulate just a feeling, it would have been that look in their face. You could see it in their eyes. They knew they had really just put the best version of themselves out there, and nobody really cared at that point. We're at a competition, but that's not why we're there. We just have to be there because it's a competition, but it's because of that feeling of what they were able to do. That feeling, as I told them, it only really happens because you have to go through the ups and downs that life has, and it's kind of was reflected in the marching season because we did that together and did that as a team together, and that moment in time of what you felt and hear happened.
So you guys made finals. How about that?
That was really cool to hear. Being a part of those groups, those names. 2021 will go down in history as probably the most competitive Grand National Championships ever.
Yeah, it's like coming back this year, everyone wanted to go. So there's so much competition this year. It's like when we made finals, like with all those bands coming, it was like an insane accomplishment for us. And like, again, compared to last year, all we did was perform in front of our parents, and to be like in finals with the stands completely filled, like top to bottom, to come to see our show and then give us a standing ovation, like that was well worth the wait.
How special was it to be able to do this again after COVID, and maybe thinking there might not be another one for several years?
You're exactly right. A couple of years ago when all this COVID stuff started, we didn't know if this activity would really ever even come back, at least not in the format that it was in. So we were just all there in a big, really, this celebration, saying, hey, we get to do marching band again. We get to see our friends. We get to see kids around the country that are doing the same things that we're doing and really get it. And I think for the few students that had done it before, they had a whole new appreciation for what this was. I'm not sure that the younger kids completely get it, but those seniors that knew what was taken away from them and had that given back to them have a whole new appreciation for what we get to do instead of what we have to do.
Yeah, right. I'm guessing the freshmen and sophomore now have a pretty good feeling.
I think they do. Sometimes when you describe like the Eiffel Tower to somebody, you don't really know what it is until you see it in person. And Grand Nationals and marching band is the same way. You can describe it, you can talk about it until you actually go through it, until you walk through that tunnel and you see those screaming fans, and you look up and you look up and you look up and they're still there. A couple of kids came out, they're like, Dr. A, there's a lot of people here. I'm like, I know, I've been telling you that. There's Dr. A, there's a camera there. I'm like, I know. And they got a chance to experience that in real time. It was really awesome.